Welcome to modern gaming. It looks a lot like hell. We're starting to see a trend where games you've paid for or spent money on, these games are taken from you and gone forever. Big corporations are Thanos snapping these games out of reality. Why? Because they don't want you to actually own your video games anymore. They'd rather kill their game.
What? Are you serious? What?
I'm a big fan of owning a physical copy of a game I've bought. You know, actually owning your games. Really happy that the Nintendo Switch 2 still offers physical games, but sometimes we're in that grey area where you buy a box game and all you're really buying is just an empty box with a digital code inside for a digital copy of the game. I hate that so much because I think there's a good chance that one day a big games company will get shut down, go bankrupt, then I lose access to my entire digital games library.
What a crock of shit.
But in some ways, that is already the case. It's kind of much worse. You see, a lot of games these days are designed with the requirement of connecting to servers to be playable, often games as a live service. Even if you just want to play your game single player, there's a requirement to be connected to its online servers. Take Ubisoft's The Crew for example. Ubisoft decided to just turn off the servers last year, making the entire game completely unplayable, even the single player. So a game you've paid for has just been taken away from you, not because Ubisoft has gone bankrupt and closed, but because Ubisoft decided to turn off the servers. If you ask me, this should be against the law.
Stop! You violated the law!
There should be consumer laws in place to prevent this from happening. When a game you've paid for has been shut down, there should be alternative ways to continue playing your game. Remove the online requirements for a true offline single-player experience. Offer ways to let players host their game servers for abandoned games. Peer-to-peer, or offer a LAN mode. Games used to have LAN modes as an option, where you could play with friends on the same network, and it would save games companies on running servers. Where have LAN modes gone? We used to have this feature, we're regressing.
Learn from the ones who came before.
If you're going to shut down your game, at least offer players alternative ways to continue playing the game they've purchased. I think it would be completely reasonable to offer some of these options. This is what Ubisoft's CEO had to say.
You provide a service, but nothing is written in stone, and at some point the service may be discontinued. Nothing is eternal.
You see how he doesn't actually call it a game, he calls it a service, despite selling a box video game. These games companies don't want you to own their games anymore. They want games as a live service. Ubisoft turned off The Crew a measly 10 years after launch. What really annoys me is that a lot of games companies and higher-ups, they'll often say something along the lines of, "You can't expect us to keep the servers online forever." And nobody's asking for that. They've completely twisted and manipulated the conversation. I wouldn't ask for servers till the end of time. It's the opposite. I don't want the reliance of servers. We're asking for cheaper solutions. LAN modes, host our own servers, a single player mode. Why does single player require your online servers? But these games companies would rather kill their own games than let you do any of that. I believe the games should be developed with these options available in advance for when the servers are turned off. Hey, if you're a huge fan of RPGs, consider subbing to Peter Bytes or liking the video. I'm a bit of an indie game developer, cover lots of RPGs. You might like my Final Fantasy series where I'm replaying them all and ranking them as I go. Thank you. So you've probably heard about the Stop Killing Games initiative. Basically, it's a big initiative to get the UK and Europe to pass new laws to stop games companies from killing games. The petition is now over, but don't worry, it's hit all its goals with over a whopping 1.4 million signatures. This is brilliant news and hopefully it brings about some change. I think this is absolutely fantastic, but it turns out loads of huge games companies are lobbying against this initiative. EA, Ubisoft, even Nintendo, Microsoft and Sony/PlayStation. And I was kind of disgusted when I saw these games companies fighting against players owning their games.
Ooh, that doesn't sound good.
Sony PlayStation are the same guys that chant "for the players", and they're the ones that mock the Xbox One for its original game ownership plans.
This is how you share your games on PS4. Thanks.
But here they are now, fighting against the players. They don't want you to own your games anymore. They want to kill games.
Ugh, bunch of little Hitlers.
I'm a big fan of physical, as I said. When it comes to digital games, it feels like you don't actually own your game. Realistically, you own more of a license than a copy of a game. It's an increasing problem. There's another game, Anthem, a game I paid full price for at launch. Wasn't worth it, by the way. EA are talking about sunsetting the game. I find the term sunsetting insulting. Basically, they're turning the servers off and ending the life of the game. But they're using marketing speak to make it sound not so bad. I hate that. I bought and own that game, but EA are just gonna take it away from me. Again, at the bare minimum, let us have an offline single player mode. Let us host our own servers or LAN. EA have come out and said Anthem was designed to be online only. And sure, integrating a LAN mode this late might be difficult, but if we could push new laws in place, we could make it so that games are built with the option to more easily open up to player-hosted servers, LAN, or single player in the future. One of your games being killed is bad enough, but owning digital libraries these days, one of my biggest fears is a company goes bankrupt, servers turn off, and we lose access to entire games libraries. That would be horrific.
Dude, what the fuck?
I always like to point out GOG Galaxy. It mostly lets you back up the games you've bought onto discs, hard drives, USB sticks. It's yours to own forever and doesn't require servers to be online to download or play your games. It very much seems like games companies don't want you to own your games anymore. I remember there was some big head in Ubisoft. God, it's always Ubisoft because they're always saying the stupidest things. Well, this Ubisoft executive said, gamers need to get comfortable not owning their games.
That is crazy.
You know, you buy a game and that's yours. You own that. That's how it should be. These game companies don't want you to own your games because they can profit off that. A big trend these days are subscription services. These games companies would rather have you playing their games on a subscription rather than owning a copy of a game. And then you've got games companies like Microsoft making a big push for their Game Pass subscription. They'd rather you were subscribed to Game Pass over buying their games. Microsoft's strategy was to raise the price of games to $80, so you'd rather subscribe to Game Pass instead and save lots of money. Well, they got a lot of hate for that price tag. I talked about it previously, but a little update, they've changed their minds. They've dropped the price of their new games from $80 to $70, and have provided refunds for pre-orders. But even then, I'm not sure Outer Worlds 2 is going to be worth $70, but I'm going to play it and review it, and I will be reviewing it based on it being $70 now.
An adventure made for capitalism by capitalism.
Another fear I have, these people in government positions, they're usually old. They don't understand what video games are. They don't understand digital ownership. And I'm worried that when it comes to the Stop Killing Games initiative, they're just going to flog it off. Especially with so many greedy corporations lobbying against this. I was genuinely disappointed when I saw Microsoft and Sony lobbying against players owning their games.
Oh, you gotta be shitting me.
Out of everything, if you're going to completely shut down a game we've paid for, then things should be in place in advance to allow us to continue playing games. But if there's one thing I want the most, it's bring back LAN mode. Loads of games used to have LAN modes, letting you play multiplayer on your local area network. It's superior to playing online, and used to have epic LAN parties. That's just all gone now. Games companies just don't put LAN modes in their games anymore. They want you to be online. I hate that. That's something that could be offered as just an alternative to killing game servers. Offer a LAN mode. I long for the days when you bought a game and day one it was a finished game, you owned it, physical copy, yours forever, lend it to a friend, trade it in for money off a new game, big physical games collections. That's what I miss the most. Like I said, I'm glad the Nintendo Switch 2 has physical games though. It's not just big companies that are working against the Stop Killing Games initiative, but other big YouTubers who have become infamous. And I couldn't disagree more. I think customer, consumer, gamer should always come first. We're in a more digital age and laws need to be updated and changed for the better. For consumers, for the average person. So fingers crossed, the Stop Killing Games initiative gets the ball rolling. Sorry if you wanted to sign the petition, it's now over, but maybe there will be new ones in the future. It takes me a while to make videos. Just wanted to give my 2 cents on game ownership. I just felt really dirty when these big corporations started lobbying against this and I wanted to make a video. Alright, have a good one.